We have a filmmaker in the house who will be talking about how to think like a filmmaker. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Ramesh Aravind.
Ramesh Aravind. Ramesh Aravind is an Indian actor, filmmaker, television presenter, and an inspirational speaker. A household name in Karnataka, he has predominantly worked in Kannada films but has also appeared in Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, and Bollywood films as well. He has earned and been nominated for numerous awards during his career, including winning 2 Filmfare Awards for Best Actor and Karnataka State Awards for Best Actor and Best Story, as well as Udaya TV and Suvarna TV Awards. He is the BBMP brand ambassador to turn Bangalore into the top 20 cleanest cities of India and the recipient of Namma Bengaluru Awards given to unsung heroes of the city.
Hello! Hi all! One of the nicest things of being an actor is that you land up in places where you have absolutely no right to be. So I was getting ready today, wearing this coat. My grown-up daughter asked me, "Dad, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Taj Airport." "For what?" I said, "I'm addressing alumni." "Alumni of?" "IIMBue Bangalore." She was frozen. I thought she'll say, "What's wrong with you?" She said, "What's wrong with them?" So the onus is on you guys to justify my presence here. Anyway, happy to be here, but then it's too much of intelligence to handle in a single room. Kudos to all the wonderful work all of you do. I'm a storyteller. I act in movies, I direct movies, I write movies. So basically, I'm into stories. So I thought, let me share a couple of my own. This happened in probably 4th or 5th standard. We had this teacher, we all met in a school camp, and the teacher comes and gives all of us a sheet of paper and says, "Take this." We see it, it's an outline of a world map. And then she says, "Now all of you, tear it into pieces." And as kids, it's fabulous, tearing pieces of paper. All of us did it really fast. And then she says, "Now guys, you turn up the world, put it back into place." Have you ever tried putting a world map back together? As a kid, it's impossible. You'll put Antarctica next to Africa, you'll have all these penguins walking clumsily in Sahara deserts. It's quite a task. And then the teacher says, we try for 15 minutes, it doesn't happen. The teacher says, "Now guys, all of you are idiots. Behind every sheet of paper, I had drawn the stick figure of a man. All that you have to do is to put the man back in place and the world will be back into order." And it was so easy for all of us. Once we put the stick figure back, the head, the 2 legs, the 2 hands, the world was perfectly back in place. And I still remember the first lesson so vividly. She says, "If you are okay, the world will be okay." That was the first lesson I learned as a kid. Individual integrity is the only solution for all the problems in the world. We hear it all over. What's the world about? What's the nation about? What's the society about? It's me and you and she and her together. So be the change. It's about changing oneself before approaching for a better world. The second story happens when I was, again, probably the first time I go on stage. Okay, all of us are doing the Pied Piper of Hamelin. You know this story, right? There's a Hamelin village in Germany which is infested with rats. They call this Pied Piper, who has this magical tune. And as he plays the tune, the rats go behind him and he drowns them into the river. So we are doing it on stage. We are all little kids. Of course, I don't get to play the Pied Piper, as always. The lead role always goes to the teacher's favorite student. So we are the rats. So to make it look like rats, we were given this black costume. You're black from neck to toe. Your black gloves, black socks. And we're on all the fours, acting as rats. We're supposed to follow the Pied Piper. And then human faces don't match a rat. So the teacher thinks of this beautiful idea. She takes this black kg cardboard, makes it into a cone, puts it on our faces with 2 rubber bands. So you have a conical black face. And just to make us see better, she makes 2 pinholes so that you can follow the Pied Piper. To my good luck, my cone turned a little. Now, the 2 holes are here, my eyes are here, I can't see a bloody thing, and then the mess starts. The Pied Piper walks ahead, I'm going this way. He takes a right, I take a left. He takes a left, I take the right. All the rats are following the Pied Piper, but there's one rat which is going all over. When I forget it, I tumble and fall down. Forget the rats following the Pied Piper. Now the Pied Piper is following the rat. And all the rats, the PT master, the English master, everybody is following me. And that was one of the biggest lessons I learned, never to follow the herd. You make your own path and the rest follows you. So, be the change. Be the change. Never, never, never follow magical tunes which will ultimately drown you. And to me, greed seems to be the biggest of them all. The third story happens much later. I was playing Santa. It's great fun, to play Santa as a kid. They give you white cotton to stick as a beard. There's more cotton to make a paunch out of you. And then you wear these red costumes, a red cap, and then you have a bell in the hand and say, ho, ho, ho. And you do that. But then as an adult, suddenly I realize that all of us are Santas. It's not about the red dress. It's not about the red cap. It's about the sack that Santa carries. I think all of us, each one of us, every one of us is carrying a sack, except that it is invisible. Right now, in the entire auditorium, behind each and every one of you is a sack you carry all the time, which you don't realize. And in that sack is your birthplace, the first time your father slapped you, the first time your mother hugged you, your first marks, your first unsent love letter. Did the sports teacher not take you to the cricket team? It's there. Did the girl in the classroom laugh at your weight? It's there. Did your joke fall flat in a family function? It's there. And every time you take a decision, every time you buy something, every time you say something, you can be sure that it's a sack that is weighing you in that direction. It is so true. Sometimes you wonder, why don't you understand this? Something so important to you is totally irrelevant to somebody else. Something which is such a big priority to you is not a priority to somebody else. It is definitely because of this sack that we carry. So be the change, be aware of the sack that you carry. And the next time you're unreasonable, you know it's not me. This is not me. I'm not like this always. What's happening? Study what's happening to the sack. And then I realized one more thing. There must be a lot of Kannadigas here. Perhaps you can help me in this. Suppose I tell you, suppose I draw a big painting, okay? I put in trees of all kinds. I put in some birds, and there's a wolf, there's a lion, there's a deer, there's a river running by. And then I ask you to name the painting. Probably you'll say jungle, forest, fair enough. But suppose in the same painting, I put a hungry tiger on the right edge, and on the left edge, if I put a sad cow feeding its calf, what will the painting be called now? Punya Koti. Punya Koti. How did the forest become Punya Koti to a few of us here? Because Punya Koti was the first story we heard in Karnataka. Punya Koti is a very, very gentle cow which goes into a forest, which is attacked by Arbuta, the tiger. And Punya Koti says, please, Leave me, I got to go back. My child is waiting for me. I'll feed her and come back to you in the evening. The tiger laughs, but Punyakoti says, I promise you, I'll be back. The cow goes, feeds its calf, comes back and take my life. The tiger is so impressed, it forgives and goes into the forest. That is the first story we ever heard as a kid in Karnataka. So a painting which is just a jungle, a forest, to the Europeans, to the Americans, becomes Punyakoti to the Kannada-speaking world. What I'm trying to say is that there are communal sacs, collective sacs that we all carry, which makes sense only to a particular group, which they are probably apparently strangers, but one common myth, one common story, one common language binds us, and that is a sac we carry. Be the change and understand these collective sacs, respect them, and join together forward. The other sac story, this was the metaphorical sac story which I told you. There was a real sac story which I heard when I went to France recently. I was directing this Kannada and Tamil versions of the Hindi film Queen. So we were shooting in France, and they had a very beautiful sac story. He was telling me there's a construction work going on, and there are coolies walking with heavy sacks of cement and mud. A tourist comes in. He asks the first guy, hey, what are you doing? He says, can't you see? I'm carrying sacks of mud and cement the whole day, man. Shitty work. And the boss pays me peanuts. It's a horrible job. I detest it. He asks the second guy, what are you doing? And he says, boss, I work the whole day. I carry these sacks. In the evening, the boss gives me a hefty fee. I go home, I feed my family. But for my boss, my family, my children will sleep hungry. They ask the third guy, hey, what are you doing? And he says, can't you see? We're building a cathedral, man. That'll be the best cathedral in Europe. The whole of Europe is going to come here next year to my town to see the cathedral that we built. And then the French guy tells me, that's the difference. It's the same work all of us are doing. To one, he cribs, he's complaining about his pay, about his work. The second guy is at least grateful. But to the third guy, it's a house of God he is building. His work is sacred. Perhaps this is the change we need. In things that we do, in our work, in our relations, to look at it as the house of God. So these are the basic things I thought will match the theme, Be the Change. First, individual integrity. Second, revisiting your sacks, refreshing your sacks. Third, understanding and respecting collective sacks. And fourth, this attitude, refreshing the way we look at our work, our relationships. Then, how do we go about this? Since I'm a filmmaker, I thought I'll go into the film analogy for this. I was thinking, why not think like a filmmaker? Excuse me. You could think like an editor. You know what an editor does? I shoot for 100 days. I give him tons of footage. The guy sees every frame of it. I shoot 8 hours a day for 100 days for a film. This guy goes through every frame of the film, takes only what is important, and just leaves out everything which is not needed for the essence of the story. I thought that could be a nice lesson to take away from filmmaking. Remove everything which is inconsequential without missing anything which is essential. Or we could think like a DOP, the cameraman. What does the cameraman do? He makes the hero, heroines, the locations, the sets, everything look beautiful. Sometimes I have 2, 3 cameramen on the set. There's a chief cameraman who keeps a perfect frame, and there's a secondary cameraman. Somehow I'm not happy with him. The chief goes there. All that he does is tilt the camera by one small degree, one little degree, and everything becomes beautiful again. He seems to have a sense of beauty which many of us perhaps don't have. I was thinking, why not bring in that kind of an aesthetic sense, a sense of beauty into everything that you do, everything that we do. It could be a presentation, it could be an argument, it could be an SMS. Whatever it is, why not approach it like a cameraman. Or he could think like an editor, or like a writer. What do writers do? Writers, any movie that you see, what are you happy about? When youngsters come and ask me, how do you write a scene? I say every scene is about one guy wanting something and the other guy not letting him have it. Every scene that you see is just this. I want something, but somebody says, I won't let you have it. That's what every scene is about. That's what every film is about. And all the great films that you enjoy because finally the conflict was resolved satisfactorily in a fulfilling way. So that could be the change to see it like a writer and resolve conflicts in a fulfilling, satisfying way. Or perhaps you could think of being a hero, heroine, or the actor. What do actors do? They do their roles effectively. Right now I'm acting in 3 films. In all 3 films I'm a cop. But then in one I'm a cybercrime guy. In the other I play Sherlock Holmes kind of a detective. In the third I'm a corrupt cop. The previous year Pushpa Gumana was a mentally challenged guy. And then you play a graveyard digger, you play a jailer or a jailmate. We play so many roles. I was thinking, why don't you take that analogy and be the change, think like an actor. What is the point when someone says he was such a terrific CEO, but then in role of a husband, oh, he needs lessons. Or you say he's such a terrific brother, but as a HR person, oh, not really good. We all have so many different roles to play. That of a parent, of a father, of a son, of a mentor, of a guide. Why not accept the challenge as an actor and play all these roles in an effective way? That could be the change. Or think like a director. What do I do as a director? When I go to the set every day, I go on set in the morning, the costumer comes and shows me 5 sarees and says, sir, what do I give the heroine? This or this or this. And I say, give this. This will suit the mood of the film. This looks like she's going on a date, not this. And then the art director comes and says, so what should I paint this set? Should it be blue or gray? I said, no, don't do that. Go in for this color. Or the music director comes and says, what tune should I choose? I give you 5. Which one do you want? All the time, it's like a multiple choice question paper which you're answering moment to moment to moment to moment. And all the yeses you say and all the no's you say finally becomes a film. If the yes that you said, majority of them, is in tune with what the audience wants, it becomes a hit. So I think we could always think like a director. It's about clarity. It's about decisiveness when approaching everything. Or perhaps you want to be a music director. What does the music director do? He gives me 5 songs in a film. But then, more importantly, the background music. The job of a music director is to underline things which are important in the film. That's what music does. When you see a film, the scenes are so good because of the music behind. I was thinking, why not be the change? Think like a music director and underline what is important with the music of life, which will be due attention. In spite of all this, whether it's the editor or the writer or the director or the actor, all of us are directing our energies to what the story is about. The way I direct a thriller like Accident is very different from the way I direct a comedy like Rama Shama Bama. So what is important is the story that is being told. If that is the case, if the theme is be the change, what could be the big story? I thought the big story is the same story which mankind has been trying to do ever since it began. The story of a fair, just, happy world where people are willing to help each other. That is a story, I think, where all our energies should be directed at. Thank you. Are we on time? We're here?
Thank you so much, Ramesh, Aravind. And can I call on stage Guru, please, to hand over the felicitation, please?
Hi, Guru.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Pa.
Thank you so much.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you.